My mom told me not to talk to strangers on the internet, but I'm glad I didn't listen. We are the Certified Nunas, your sisters in the love of Asian entertainment.
Hi, I'm Amanda.
I'm Jessie.
I'm Natalia.
Sky.
What has everyone been watching?
I actually finished 2 dramas this week. I'm so proud of myself. I had enough time to actually watch dramas. So I finished Skate into Love, Chinese drama about speed skating and figure skating and hockey, and it was delightful. Took a little bit of they had a mental health plot line, which was dealt with very, very, very well in the depiction of the breakdown. But then he was healed with the power of love and friendship, because that's how that works.
That's not how that works.
And basically did a whole thing where essentially the abusive mother who had broken him saw the error of her ways, never really apologized or got help herself, because she clearly needed it also. And then, all was forgiven. And when he wins an award and he thanks his mommy for everything she's done for him, and you want to tear your hair out because you're like, but the abuse and no, okay, sure.
We're just gonna move on from all of that. That's not important for the love plot line of this story.
Otherwise, other than that, which was really only about maybe 3 or 4 episodes out of 40, which once again, C-dramas, most of you don't need to be 40 episodes. You don't. You got 30 episodes worth of story there. Cut it out. But it was good. It was enjoyable. And I liked that the depiction of athletes was really good. The idea of, they did do a good job of showing the mental strain, the physical strain, the potential injuries, the idea of being young athletes and having that be your dream, and yet knowing that this is a short dream. It can't last forever, and you don't, and what if you don't make it? What do you do if you don't like kids enough to coach and you aren't good enough for the Olympics? Where do you fall in the middle, So that was good. And then last night I finished When the Weather is Fine, which was perfect. It stuck the landing and stuck it hard, and I was so glad, because right up until the end I was still like, this could go. They could, she's in the trap. It was the last 3 minutes.
The last 10 minutes of that show.
They could
ruin the whole show.
And it was that kind of thing. I was like, if this goes the way that I could potentially see, because having watched a lot of dramas, right? Sometimes they want to be, artsy or something about the ending, and then you're just like, why did you do that? But no, it was good. Stuck the landing. I could have enjoyed another episode of just happy townspeople doing townspeople things and book clubs, and I just really love everybody in the town, and I want to hang out with them longer. So
I thought the tone of that show was fascinating.
Yeah.
Even when it was heavy or very emotional, the tone was just always, it felt very different than other shows to me.
I haven't finished it yet. I was waiting for it to be done so I could
That's how I was.
Yeah. And all I wanted to say was the tone throughout the entire show.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, it hit all these different notes, but overall, just the tone was very consistent, I thought, which I thought was good.
Yeah. It was different. It was very different. Very good. Somebody on my timeline was like, oh, I'm going to need another one like that. And I was like, what? What other one like that? There's nothing. I haven't seen anything like that.
Good luck with that dream you have.
Yeah.
I got some bad news for you, buckaroo.
We get one every year or two. You get something like that, or 12 nights, or and you're like, oh, this is new. This is different. I enjoy this. And then you have to wait.
Then it goes back to the regular stuff we're used to.
I did start a cute little web drama today. It's a little Thai one called Ingredients. I guess it's on I can't remember what the name of the supermarket is, but it's on their like official YouTube channel. So it's just cute. These two boys who are roommates and they're falling in love, and one's a singer.
Roommates.
Yes,
They
and
were
one's a singer and one loves
roommates.
to
Oh my
cook.
God, they were
So he
roommates.
Oh my God, they were roommates.
And they're just so cute. And the boy who can, like, who's a singer, can actually sing. He has a lovely voice, which is
Well, that's
really
a
nice.
first.
That's a nice change in pace in the Thai drama, let me tell ya. And the boy who can cook, he just makes these little, like, desserts or snacks or whatever, and then they, like, do a little artsy close-up on the food, and they, talk about it. And I'm sure if you speak or read Thai, you can probably find, like, links to the website, and they probably have, like, the recipes and all the ingredients, which aisle you can find the ingredients in or something, but it was just cute.
That's like a really cute concept for a web drama by a grocery store. Like, that's...
Mm-hmm.
Well, I had read something about it on my drama list, and somebody said, well, like, it's a lot of, shots of the food and stuff, but, like, I've only watched the first 2 episodes, I think. And, like, they're not in the grocery store. From the way they talked about it, I thought it was a story about, like, 2 guys who work at a grocery store or something. And so there was going to be a lot of, like, product shot talking and stuff. But there wasn't anything like that. Like, basically the only thing you see at the grocery store is, like, they keep bringing home bags of groceries and then cooking with their groceries. So it's just, I don't know, they're like 5-minute episodes. So it's easy, easy and cute, and and that's a couple other Thai dramas, but I think Nat's watching those too. They're,
Yeah, leave me something to talk about, please.
And I didn't watch any 5 Enough this week. Really? Really didn't. I know. So sad. My sister and I, like, we're going to watch, like, 2 episodes and then, like, 4 episodes, and it's midnight, and she's like, I still have to work because apparently lawn care is an essential business. Whatever.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
But I
My
guess
lawn
it's pretty
is
solitary. Because you can, like, go on a lawn and, like, leave and never even talk to that person.
You know
like,
what? That's true.
your entire career.
It is true. And they have been, like, they send out smaller crews, so they're only sending out, like, 2 guys at a time, or they're, whatever. But, I mean, she's an office worker anyway, but she's the one who does payroll. So
Yeah.
if they're going to stay open, she needs to be there because people wants to get paid. So, yeah. So, but hopefully, maybe tomorrow night, maybe I'll get a little more. They're so cute. They're finally, like... Sung-Hoon finally got the girl.
Are they finally in love? Oh, now the real fun begins.
So,
but have they figured out that Sung-Hoon is...
No.
They
still haven't got the brother's friend.
Yeah, the connection hasn't been made
with
yet.
weird hand movements.
Like,
how everyone's related. They haven't figured that out yet.
No, not yet. But she finally realized that she has feelings for him, and he realized she has feelings for him. And the main couple, like, realized that they actually kind of do want to get married, maybe, might be a thing that they want to do, but, like, their parents are horrible all of a sudden.
Yeah, parents are well, like, his parents aren't terrible, but his dead wife's parents are...
Well,
yeah.
I mean, the dead wife's parents are... The mom acts like he's her boyfriend, not her dead daughter's son.
It is fucking weird, I'll be honest.
It's a little... And, I mean, the daughter calls her out on it all the time. Like, she's like, he's my brother-in-law. He's your son-in-law. He's not your husband. He's not your boyfriend. You need to stop. Like, she's just like, come on, Mom. Chill out, right? Like, but Mom can't chill out. She's kind of adorable in her crazy.
That's just not who she is.
It's not. It's not at all. But like where we're at right now, his mom is being like the worst. Like,
she goes through like a real shitty period, And then all of her kids call her out on it and being like, "You being a piece of shit, Ma." And then she's like, "I guess I was being a piece." And even like the father's like, even like the guy's father's like, "You're kind of being really weird about this. Like you wanted him to find love again because his wife died, and now that he has,
You're mad because she's divorced and has kids. Like, this is the thing that gets me, is that he has kids.
Yeah, I know, right?
His wife is dead, but he has kids. She has kids and is divorced. But that's like somehow a crime. Like, everybody in his life is like, oh my God, like, why would you want to marry a woman who has kids? Well, let me see.
Like, and meanwhile, he's like, I have kids. Why would she want to marry me?
I mean, if you're a dude with kids, wouldn't you rather marry somebody who has already proven that they know how to keep children alive?
Yeah, they like kids.
Kids.
Like children. And I mean, their kids are all classmates and love each other. Like, they're best friends with each other already. So they're going to be like, okay.
And like the littlest one is so cute. And she comes with a grandma who wants to like help out around the house and be helpful and take care of the kids when they're working. What's not to love? Anyway, okay, let's not get into Five Children. I could like get into Five Children for it's like one of my favorite shows. We got to stop this now. We got to stop.
Just because of Five Children podcast.
It's so weird because it's like
that would be quite the podcast.
Is like the mom was like, yay, 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 and then suddenly, and then hopefully Stacy gets good again. So
she gets a little worse before she gets better. Pre-warning. Okay. Pre-warning. Anyway, moving on, Jessie. Please tell us something not Five Children that you're watching.
Well, I really haven't watched a lot of Asian dramas because, depression and anxiety manifest in not watching things that I really like, or like things that I have to actually think of, which, subtitles, you have to think about that a little bit more than like, watching a lot of Grey's Anatomy, which I did a lot. And
you
if
don't
you
like
saw,
it.
Well, okay, so if you saw the live chat, I am contradicted to myself, and I like watched parts of it, even though I don't like it. But in my defense, I was like, why don't I like this show? Because I was watching like the newest seasons, and I had watched all the other seasons before that. Like, so I liked it at one point. It was just, I have only been watching it on Netflix, and Netflix was not super fast at getting the license or whatever to put it up on Netflix. So it was a big gap before watching this last couple of seasons. I was like, what's going on? And so then I restarted this series, and then I realized why I like the show. Like, I like Grey's Anatomy in the first seasons. It's a completely different show now than it was in the beginning.
I like the first 2 seasons, and then it lost me.
Yeah, it's got a super great found family story arc in those like beginning ones, which is really nice. And like, it also does things like, I really like friendship relationships, and especially like Meredith and Christine's relationship together is so nice. Like, I really like that. And as soon as like I got to the second season, but like the first season's only like 9 episodes long or something like that. So I get to the first episode of the second season, and it was that like the official like you're my person like thing that they do, and I was like, that's why I like this show, and that's why I was like thinking I could watch Grey's Anatomy. It's not the same, which is like, whatever, it's fine. Like, if you like those, it's just a drastically different show in the beginning. So I've been watching that. I did watch, I don't think I talked about this the last time we did one of these episodes. I watched a Japanese drama. It's the Kyoto Love Stories, the Fukuyato Honto, because my mom was really nice and gave me Amazon Prime so I could watch British murder shows. Nice. And then I was like, well, let me look at all like the Japanese dramas, because they have a couple of Japanese dramas that are on, and a couple of like Korean dramas. And I watched that one. It was pretty easy. It was like a kind of really cutesy rom-com-y show.
Yeah, it was cute.
I did like the first half of it a lot more than the second half. I think it switched to trying to be super serious and not as like just light romance show. And at that time, like, I really wanted just a light romance show. Like, I didn't want extra stuff, but it was cute. And if you have Amazon Prime, as far as I know, it's only on Amazon Prime. I think it's one of their originals. So you should look for it. I also tried to watch this web drama with one of the guys from FT Island. I don't know what it's called because the Amazon Prime has it as a completely different title as what MDL has. It's about he's an owner of a food truck, and he like goes to Jeju and then like meets a girl who's painting on the side of his food truck. I didn't really like it, so I stopped it. So I've been like watching mostly Grey's Anatomy and then Roswell. I'm continuing on that. I watch X-Files all the time too, especially because that's on Hulu. And so it's like when I go to watch Roswell, it's like Roswell or X-Files that you've been currently watching. I'm always like, X-Files right now. And then also because apparently it's stemming more from Grey's Anatomy, but I've been watching these for like a really long time. I watch a lot of the Doctors React series on YouTube, or like any professional reacts to a show that their profession is portrayed in, and then they react to it. So it just happens to be that like the doctors are like the biggest representation, but there's like other ones that are like, you know, FBI agents reacting to FBI shows and that sort of thing. But I've been watching a ton of those and picking back up the like the people that I had watched like a couple years ago, like picking them back up and watching all the ones that they've done. So that's been a really big part of my watch list. And then if I'm going to bring it back to Asian content, a lot of my faves are doing a lot of V Lives. Like 2PM has been doing a lot of V Lives. Like even like Woo Young today just did one during the middle of the day, and I was like, this is amazing. I love this so much. And also because I haven't been feeling very great, Day 6 does a lot of like specifically Wanpil does a lot of like V Lives where he's just doing his playlist of things, where it's like he just talks about what he really likes music wise, and he plays the music, and he kind of like spends most of the time basically telling how much he loves this next song that he's gonna put on, like he hasn't introduced yet. He's like, oh, I just really love this song. And you're like, just tell me the song, Wanpil.
He's building you up.
He's like building you up. He's like, oh man, I really like that boy. Loves his One Direction. Anyway, he's just like so sweet and kind that it's like very, very nice to like sit there and watch his stuff. Like it's very calming. It like clears your mind. You're like, I'm okay with this. Like if I focus on this, like life isn't that like hard, you know, that sort of thing. So I've been watching a lot of like Wanpil content and Day 6 content in general because I'm doing something secret project, but like, you know. Secret project. So yeah, just being that way, especially also because if you know, I'm usually up at like 4 a.m., which is when like everybody does their actual V Lives, like they start their V Lives. So the Dreamcatcher will be like, we're doing a V Live. And I'm like, okay, don't know Korean, but here I am.
Hi friends, it's me, like, Jessie.
After like doing like a practice at the studio or like going from like a music thing, and I'm like, I don't know what you're saying, but okay, you seem like really happy. Oh, now you're singing. That's cute. So that's my watching. It's not a lot, but maybe I'll do some stuff, you know, next month when I'm back at work, because I'm gonna be back at work.
But from home.
But from home.
But it's work. But from home. But it's work.
But money, so I can pay for money that basic comeback and that Monster X comeback. So there's silver lining. What about you, Natalia?
So, okay, it's like, in terms of like Korean stuff, mostly I have been semi-conning my coworker's husband into the K-drama life, and he is in. Specifically for like action dramas. So we started with, what did we start with? We started with Kingdom. We loved it. We watched Train to Busan. Loved it.
Good job.
Then what did we watch? We watched
Voice.
Oh, we watched Voice. Thank you. We watched Voice. He loved it. Then I got him to watch Bad Guys. He loved it. Last night we watched Parasite. He lost his fucking mind. He loved it so much. And we've also been watching Rugal, which literally at least once a day he's like, I'm really pumped for this weekend because Rugal's coming back, and I'm like really enjoying it. And he wants his like 14-year-old, because they're back from their moms, to watch Rugal with us. So we might be watching the first half again so that Mark can join us. So it's been like action time with Natalia and Phil, basically. We have what we call it the movie club, where we just sit and we watch stuff together. So we're having a great time with that. But in my own personal viewing, it has mostly been the land of the ties here in my world, but with a little brief detour to Japan, because I have been rewatching Happy Mari, which is what it is. I finished it again. Dean Fukiara is still just daddy energy to like, boy can get it. But other than that, okay, so Why Are You just finished as of the day that we are recording this. I'm gonna miss it. It had some questionable makeout scenes in the last episode, which isn't even a spoiler, because if you've been watching it, or any Thai boys love drama, you know they're gonna make out in the last episode. But like, one of them actually, okay, I gotta mention this because it actually fits the characters, because they're like, they had the most awkward looking, like just bad looking kiss. Like, it was just like, when you see a kiss and you're like, oh, that man does not done much of this kissing thing, huh? But they're supposed to be like awkward virgins, so like it made sense, that they would have this awkward, like, anyway, it was a weird, but then there was another weird kiss with the two who kiss normally. He had like a necklace and they were like making out, but like with the necklace, like, okay, I can't even describe what was happening with this necklace. It was fucking weird, okay? I was like, metal doesn't taste good. Drop the necklace. Stop with the necklace. Moving on. But it was pretty good. Like, it was, it was a cute, fluffy show that you really don't need to think that much about. There was like the homophobic dad became not homophobic, like, real quick, and I was like, that's not like really how it happens. Like,
yeah,
the character would have probably in reality been disowned by his father, not like his one yelling at his dad about how he's gay is not going to really change the guy's mind. But whatever, we're moving on. They wanted a happy ending, that's fine. I'm also watching Together, the series, which is on YouTube, and that one's pretty good.
It's so cute.
It's really cute, and not like, I just gotta say, Sarwat finally got to grab that titty. So excited. It's a man titty. The whole series, he's been obsessed with the other guy's, like, man boobs, and he's like, I really just want to, like, touch your boobs. And the guy's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, no, you can't. And he's like, fine, you can touch one, but no squeezing. And he's like, oh. So it was like really fucking weird. It's a weird show.
But it's cute.
It's a cute, so weird cute show. It's just
weird, but it's cute.
Yeah, like, it's just, it's full of pretty looking people, doing, like, the plot is
thin,
minimal, like,
yeah.
Oh, there's a gay guy who wants to date me, so I'm gonna pretend to be gay with another dude and ask him to fake date me. But little did I know, the other dude's been in love with me for years and wants to really date. And it's just like, these are plots that don't actually happen in reality.
But they're so overused. It's so funny.
They're so common. And you're just like, but it's really cute. They moved in together and they got some, like, cute, like, domestic fluff. And then
it was adorable.
It was
but
really
weird
cute.
Because it was like they moved in together, but like
they've
the
never
one
been
is
on
still
a date.
begging for kisses and stuff. Like,
yeah,
he's like,
and
but I get to kiss you on the cheek, and you're like, living together, you're moving in together, and you've never even kissed on the
There's
cheek.
only one bed, and you're still, like, talking, like, they haven't been on a single date. I'm like, whoa, you guys are moving at the speed of light, my dudes. But it's a really nice apartment, so I get it. I'd have been seduced by that apartment, too. Like, other than that, I've been watching a lot of, like, Oxygen Not Included YouTube videos.
Me too. That's also a thing.
Yeah, there's like two main dudes. There's two main dudes who do it. So Markiplier, who's a very famous YouTuber, did like a series, but his weren't actually like helpful. It was more like his were just funny of him trying to make them not die. But then there's like these two YouTubers who do actual like helpful Oxygen Not Included videos, like this is how you should build this for like doing this and this. So I've just been, and one of them has like a really soothing voice, and he also kind of sounds like me because every time something goes wrong, he goes, "It's fine, it's fine."
Is it the one that you shared? Because
yes.
Yeah, I love him.
It's
fine. Because he'll do stuff like, he'll be like, "What are you doing? Why aren't you working?" And then he'd zoom in, and the little mole's sleeping, and he's like, "Oh, but you're sleeping. You look so adorable."
And
it's literally all of us.
Yeah, that's like us playing Oxygen Not Included.
Watch any of the old recordings on Natalia's channel. It's literally, she'll be like, "Why aren't you doing any?" "Oh, you're sleeping."
Like, oh, you're cute. No, but it's always like, "Why are you eating in the piss tank? Get out of the piss tank. Stop eating in the piss tank." I think that was the first episode, was me yelling at Kronka because she just kept eating dinner in like the polluted water reservoir. And I'm like, girl. But anyway, so that's,
Children.
Children, I'm telling you. So that's basically, just a lot of Oxygen Not Included and Thai boys love. Yeah, I've also been rewatching Shadowhunters because I love pain. So the show is so bad, guys, but yet so engaging at the same time. Like, it's like Riverdale in that way, where you're watching it and you're like, this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Next episode, please.
You're like, I gotta stay up.
I gotta see what happens next, even though I've already seen the show. All right, Sky. What have you been up to?
Finished When the Weather is Fine. We kind of already talked about that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, the tone, I thought it was pretty unique. And it was like bittersweet, but probably a little heavier on the bitter than I was expecting before the show started. Like it ended up being far more serious than I had imagined it was going to be. And I was totally fine, and the way they handled it was really good. It felt artsy, but realistic at the same time. All the issues dealt with felt very realistic, so I appreciated that. Serious when it should be serious, which, some dramas deal with heavy-handed things a little too lightly, so, they didn't really do that. They leaned into the good stuff. Not good stuff. The bad stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
Hyena, I finished it a couple weeks ago. Really liked it a lot. It's really fun. I'll probably rewatch it someday. Not, in the near future, but whenever.
You say that, and then randomly you're gonna put it on. You're like, well, I'm here.
It is what it is.
And that's what happens. You're like, oh well.
And it's part of the reason why I watch on my laptop a lot. They were so animated with their faces with stuff. They would always have either funny expressions or intense expressions with their faces. And so I would be reading the subtitle, but then I'd have to go. I could tell that there was a lot of looks exchanged all the time, so then I'd have to go back to really see. And then the voice tone, Ju Ji-hoon, he sounds like he is singing throughout the entire show. His character is the way he speaks is very sing-songy, and so it's very interesting. And so I'll have to read it sometimes, then I have to if it's an important exchange, I'll start it over so I can get the tone better and all the exchanges a little bit more. Because if you just keep reading, it's kind of tough to get that. So, but it was really good, and it ended as you would expect. So, and really, other than that, I haven't watched a lot. I've been watching City Hunter. I think I'm on episode 7 out of 20. So feels like I should be further along than I am. But I really am enjoying it. I think I can just only do a few episodes at a time. But it's my type of thing since I liked Healer. Feels very similar to that to me.
Yeah, it's like got the same sort of tone as Healer does.
Right. I feel like Lee Min-ho's character is a little bit more sociable than Healer is. Healer is very society, even though Lee Min-ho's character is like he's under an alias and all this stuff. And some of it is pretending to be integrated with society. He's still around people a lot, and he's still interacting with a lot of people. Whereas Healer was like Batman to the extreme. He like just wasn't around people until he was, I guess he went undercover, whatever. So
he didn't live undercover. He. Whereas in City Hunter, he has like an identity that he spends all of his time as.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just noticed that his character was way more like adjusted socially, is kind of what I realized, at least in the first 7 episodes. Watching a couple of web dramas, Big Picture House with 2 of the In-Flying guys. It is now on YouTube, fully subbed for English. It's 12 episodes, short episodes, 6 to 12 minutes each, easy. They're not like the main central character. The main central character is a female character. And they're kind of like the love triangle, love interests with her, essentially, is what it seems like. So it's cute. The way they do their product placement is halfway through an episode, it'll kind of like pause and it'll look like they minimize on a laptop, like on a computer screen. And there'll be these other windows. And within those other windows, there'll be these brand names. There's some obvious product placement going on. But like, it's cute. It's kind of all about music and relationships and stuff. But there's also like kind of awkward, one of my juniors from my entertainment company saw me being embarrassed. There's a lot of like secondhand embarrassment stuff. It's not too aggressive, but I think that's what's keeping me from like enjoying it and wanting to just like binge the whole thing really quickly. Mm-hmm. I have to kind of take it in small bits because that takes the enjoyment away a little bit for me, but it's cute. They do good. The Mermaid Prince with Moonbin. Now episode 1 is on YouTube, fully English subbed. I don't know how often they're going to be dropping episodes. According to my drama list, it says it aired Tuesday and Wednesday. I think they're talking about back when they had it on the app a few weeks ago. So I don't know if that means they're going to be dropping 2 episodes a week on YouTube, or if we're just going to get 1 a week, which is sometimes a common theme that some web dramas do. So we'll see. Moonbin was in the first episode and when he spoke, he was very soft-spoken, which was interesting to see because I'm not used to seeing him so quiet because he's not that way. And I don't even know if there's really going to be like a mermaid thing going on, or they just decide to call him that just for fun. So we'll just see if if it's like we're perceiving and being cute about this could be a fantasy thing, or this actually is a fantasy thing. In episode 1, it was pretty much like, we're just going to call him Mermaid Prince. Like, they just randomly decided that because they saw him in the water. It's like, that was a big jump, but okay.
It's a bit of a reach, people, but, you know what, it's fine. It's fine.
So they're like, I guess because he's so pretty, we're just going to assume he's a mermaid. Gotcha. Okay.
If you say so.
Okay. Do you?
And I've been getting into Master in the House more because Chanwoo, he is now becoming a permanent cast member of the show.
Yeah. Yay!
So that's like a really big deal. I watched the first episode of what he guested in, and then the second half of that will be this weekend, like Sunday or Monday. And it was actually really interesting. No, I'm thinking of the one about... It is interesting. I also watched the episode before that. The episode before that he wasn't on, but it was about, like, they didn't talk about the current situation a lot, but they talked about immunity. And so then they talked about, they went to 3 different masters, one about physical health, one about mental health, and then one about, like, eating and that type of immunity. And
that's cool.
So... yeah, it was actually like really insightful and neat. And the third guy for eating, he's called the something like the Scrounging Wanderer or something. Since he was 12 years old, he has been on his own traveling, like learning about just like scavenging in the wild and making things. Like his mom died when he was very young. So he's just like, he's brilliant, and he's like one of these older guys who's just so insightful. So even right when they meet him, he's very famous in Korea, but when he speaks, he just sounds like one of those old masters of like just so wise about anything in life. Like, you know, the birds are singing and the sun shines down on these plants, and so within the plants are like the songs of the birds and stuff. It's like, whoa. And so like all the guys, like, I feel him just listening to you talk. Like, it was really cool. So it's a 2-part episode thing. I'm the second episode with him. But what was really neat was he made this fancy, I'm not going to remember the Korean name for it. He made this fancy, essentially like stew thing that he had buried for 10 years. And he had never made it before. And it's this ancient Korean recipe that used to be for kings. And there's a common version of it that they've had before. But this whole like 10-year, and there was meat in it and all this stuff, and he had it underground. And so you see him he digs around, finds his earthen pot, opens it up, and he's so excited because he's never done it before. So you're watching this old, very wise man like be giddy about trying this thing, and then he's sharing it with these guys, and he was just like having the best time of his life. Like,
I like stuff like that.
Moment, and he's like, this has been 10 years in the making. I've never tried it. This is a big deal. And they're all just like, oh my gosh. I mean, it was really cool. And then after that, he was going to make them a meal. And they kept on asking him, like, what are you going to make? It's a secret. Like, even the guy helping him kept on asking questions. It's a secret. Like, I'm not going to tell you. But, he goes around and he, like, picks weeds and makes, like, these awesome dishes out of it. And he says, like, this is the stuff that helps you stay healthy and whatever, but that has to taste good. Like, he knows that's a big deal.
Yeah.
So.
And it's kind of nice, like, if you're gonna take the effort of burying a stew for 10 years to ferment, you might as well share it with your bros, right? Like, don't keep that to yourself. Like, have a good time.
But it was just really sweet to watch that. And then the one with the next episode with Inu in it, they're at the SBS Broadcasting Company, so they have to be interns and they go to different shows. And the first show they go is Unanswered Questions, and it's like the investigative crime show, like legit. And I think it's been around for like over 20 years. I mean, it is a big deal over there. And they have figured out so many serial killers, and like they seem like the hotline to call if you have a tip. Like, that's the type of even their office environment. All of the show people were like, this does not look like an office. This feels like an investigative, like, they have all these law books and all this stuff. And the producers that make the show, like, they're always in actual danger of, like, when they go chase these people down and stuff. So it was just fascinating. And then there's this professor criminologist chick, and she was just so cool. And they're like, your family and husband can, like, never lie to you, can they? She's like, nope, it's meaningless. Like, you can't.
She's like, nice try, but no.
Meaningless. Oh, boy.
Play act, like, lying to her, which she would just, like, bust them so bad. It was so great. She was just like, no, that doesn't work on me. You can't. And she would even explain, like, how too many details, you know, like, you can't do that. So I'm pumped about Master in the House. The second episode of the broadcast, so then they went on Nightly News, and they kind of did auditions. And the first one who won was going to do, like, the sports section of the Nightly News. And they were, like, scared spitless, which is funny. They're on TV, like, all the time.
Yeah, but not live TV. It's not, it's different.
Reading it like they do, it's different. And the second runner-up was going to get, like, the radio news, and that was a big deal, too. And then the second part was going to be, like, variety show producing, and so they're going to be trying to call up all the famous people they know and cast them and see if they're going to come on the show. So they're, like, calling up, like, the Parasite director, like, Ma Dong-seok, like, they're bringing in the big boys. They're trying to bring in it's pretty. So I'm having fun. I'm really pumped that Inwoo got, like, permanently casted.
Yeah,
so. Cool.
Because first episode you could tell that he's grown a lot in how he can do his humor now on TV, because he kind of struggled with that for a while, because he's a funny kid, but when you're around strangers, it's a little bit more hard to, like, express that. So whenever he was on, they're like, you're pretty, like, witty and funny. He's like, I've practiced, like,
cute.
And then he's like, then they go, oh, you're so smart. And they kept on asking him questions like about what rank he was in school and stuff, and you could tell he was trying to not talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, "You were class president, were you?" And he's like, "Yeah." He was trying.
Maybe I was, maybe I wasn't. Let's not talk about this. New topic, please.
So he was like, "I was class president, and I was only like rank 12. Like, how on earth were you 3 or 2 or whatever? Like, I don't understand." So it was fun. That's all. I really didn't watch all that much.
She says after saying a billion things that she watched. Thank you for listening to the Certified Nunas. You can find us wherever you're listening to us now. We're also on Spotify, Apple iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Podbean, and YouTube. But of course, the best place to listen to us is to go to our website, certifiednunas.com, because it has all the links to everything that we talk about in the show. Go to ko-fi.com/certifiednunas to become an official coffee sponsor. We put the outtakes that get removed from the episode up there for our peeps. We thank you for listening, and you can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Tumblr. Am I forgetting any? I think that's all of them. And we're always the Certified Nunas, so at Certified Nunas on every platform. Bye.
Bye.